So somebody asked the other day in it was either the Q&A or I think it was in Q&A about vigilance. I believe myself to be a person who should not drink alcohol. Now, I take tinctures, which are alcohol based. So I do have alcohol in my system sometimes. I drink kombucha, which has a small amount of alcohol in it. I love kombucha. I drink it all the time. And also, I will have a sip from like my partner's wine when we're eating dinner. I'll just grab his one sip and I give it back. So again, I'm not really, I'm alcohol free in the way that I think of it. So, but my point is that I still, even though I have a little bit of control over that, or I guess probably a lot of control, um, I still use my crutches when I go to parties, when I go to bars. And not because I'm like worried that I'll drink, because I don't have any desire to drink, but I do that just to be safe, like just to protect myself. It's not a matter of like me really being worried I'm gonna like fall off the wagon or on the wagon, off the wagon. Um, like I'm not really worried, but I'm still vigilant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do the New Year's Eve toast with the champagne with everybody, and I have a little sip and I set the glass down. I think it was like 2 New Year's Eves ago. I did the little toast, I had the sip, and I was like, that's good. I had another sip. And then I found myself unconsciously having a third sip, and I was like, oh, gotta put that down, you know? And that's where like the vigilance comes in. Like, for some people, they wouldn't even do the toast because they wouldn't feel safe. I feel safe doing the toast. I feel safe having like a little sip from my partner's wine every so often, just to remind me of the taste of it. And it's funny because like very frequently when I have a sip of it, I'm like, ooh, my body's like, I'm not really into that these days. You know, even when I have my like medicinal tinctures, and I mix it with water because it's strong, it's made with like Everclear or vodka or whatever. My body is like, oh, I'm not into this. Like it likes the medicine part. It does not like the alcohol part. And yes, I know there's vinegar tinctures and glycerin tinctures and whatever. But I appreciate the alcohol ones because they are really fast. So that's not the thing. The thing is vigilance. I still bring a million beverages with me when I go to festivals and parties because I don't want to feel left out when everybody else is having booze. That is important for me. That's part of my vigilance, is making sure that I have the things that I need or want that make me feel safe and calm and okay when I'm in an environment where everyone else is drinking or most people are drinking. I make sure of that. I love to smoke a ciggy when I'm at a party because it makes me feel like I'm partying because I don't smoke cigarettes anymore in my daily life, but I buy them specifically to smoke one or two at a party or more, whatever. Like whatever. Um because it makes me feel like I'm partying and I like to party. That part of me is not dead. I love to party. I love to, you know, hang out with people laughing and talking and joking and dancing and, doing all those things. I just don't like to get blackout drunk anymore. And I can't afford to emotionally. I can't afford to mentally. I cannot I can't not do that. So I find ways that I can do the things that I liked about partying without the things that harm me. And some people would argue that cigarettes harm me. Tobacco is harming. And you know what? I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the fact that like, you know, I'm will puff in some tobacco. That does not, no, because like weeks will pass or a month or 2 months or whatever, and my body will clean that out. I'm just not worried about that. I'm much more worried about the fact that I'm not even really worried, isn't really even the word. I'm much more concerned about keeping myself satisfied, safe, comfortable when I'm in an environment that could be, you know, tempting to me if I let it be. For me personally, I'm literally not tempted. However, maybe I could be if I let myself be. I don't know. But for you, you might be tempted. So I'm going to say it again. Vigilance is important in this. You know, in AA, they talk about persons, places, and things, persons and people, places, and things that like trigger us into the craving or the habits, of abuse, of self-abuse through whatever the addiction or substance abuse or whatever is. So we have to be vigilant. And yeah, it's inconvenient or whatever, but it doesn't really have to be. Like I have personally, like I have got this big basket that I carry around with me everywhere. And it has all the things I think I might need whenever. And for me, this is like a self-care, self-love kind of a thing where I've got this basket and it has scarves and gloves and tinctures and snackies, and it has a lot of stuff in it that I might need at any given time just to make me feel comfortable. And that's part of our radical self-love. How can we take better care of ourselves? How can we cover all of our bases? How can we be vigilant about our wellness? How can we be vigilant about the way that we support ourselves? And that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, it might be about some kind of addiction or abuse, substance abuse, self-abuse problem, whatever. But what it really comes down to is being vigilant about how we care for ourselves, how we support ourselves. Like, again, this goes back to treating ourselves like a child. If you had a child, you would have a bag of stuff just to take care of that child. If that child needed anything, you'd have some baby wipes, some band-aids, some snackies. Like you make that bag for yourself. Okay? You make that bag. The bag that you can take anywhere that's gonna like you just like throw it in the trunk and it's there just in case you need anything. I know it sounds silly and minor, but it's not minor. It's a big deal. Like there is a little you inside of you that hasn't been cared for, that needs you to be vigilant, that has needed somebody to care for it in these ways. You might be 80 years old, but there's still a little part of you inside of you that's a little kid that was like, wait a minute, like I haven't been cared for in these ways. My parents didn't do it, and now you're not doing it. So yeah. Yeah. How can you take care of yourself? How can you be vigilant around your self-care and your self-support, and you're keeping yourself out of trouble? Okay, my friend, you're doing a great job. I love you. You're perfect.